How long have you worked here?
At White House Police?
Yes.
3.5 years.
How long have you worked at the station?
I've worked for the White House Police Department about 15.5 years.
Did you start working here?
I was called by the Chief of Police, the previous Deputy Chief, the position which I have left, went to a different organization, and this is a good opportunity for me.
Did you start working at the White House Police Department?
I started here, I was not too long out of the academy, and a job was available here. I had a friend that worked on the department. Thought it'd be a good place to get my feet wet, get some experience before I moved on to a bigger department. And so I applied, got hired, and started working here. And once I started working here, I learned that I really love small town policing and stayed.
How has this coronavirus affected your family and your work?
Family, not so much. My kids are grown. They all worked through it. They weren't laid off. But as for work, I mean, it's greatly impacted. You know, calls for service actually went down during the middle of the pandemic back in, when it first started in 2020. Crime actually went down because no one was out. No one was about. People were staying in their homes. Businesses were closed, so crime did go down. We've seen it, go back up. Calls for service are going up. The officers had to wear masks and gloves and, stuff like that to make our job just a little more difficult. It's hard to communicate to somebody, at a traffic stop when they're in a car wearing a mask, you're outside wearing a mask, the cars are driving by, the wind's whistling, and it's harder to hear, you know what I mean? But, we've managed to get through it, honestly.
How has this coronavirus affected your family and your work?
As far as work is concerned, it didn't really affect work too much. I felt like early on, we still had to show up. We still came into work every day. It affected how we conducted business. We had to be more cognizant of wearing PPE and wearing masks and gloves and things like that. We tried to limit our interactions with the public. But other than that, it didn't change our day-to-day operations. With my family, my wife's a teacher, so obviously she was home for quite a bit, and we have 2 small children, so it put a lot of pressure on at home, because with my wife being home with the kids all day long and me still having to come into work, it was just stressful for her.
What is your favorite part about being a law enforcement officer?
Wow, that's a loaded question. It's a profession that has a dedicational purpose. I know every day that what I do will impact people in one way or another. Not every profession can say that. Over my pretty long career, I've had an opportunity to influence and impact a lot of people.
What's your favorite part about being a law enforcement officer?
I think every day is a little different. You get to meet people. I've worked here 15 years. I know a lot of people in town, but there's always people I get to meet every day. Everything's a little different. Every call is different. Even if it's the same type of call, they have special circumstances that make them different. Kind of like snowflakes. There's no 2 that are the same.
What are some next steps for future law enforcement officers?
What's the next steps?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Technology, dealing with the public. I mean,
Any next steps?
Well, there's a nationwide shortage of police officers. So honestly, I don't know what the next step is. 3 years ago, applications nationwide was down 63%. Right now, there's an academy down the road that used to have 25 to 30 cadets. It has 9. There was an academy down in Finley, used to have about 24 cadets. There's been so few applicants, they haven't even had an academy for 3 years. Over in Northwest State, They have an academy going on. Only 9 cadets. Nobody wants to do this job. So what's the next step in this field? I don't know. Chief's eligible for retirement. I'm eligible for retirement. The list goes on and on. I don't know what's next. We need people like you to do this job.
The next steps for people who want to be a law enforcement officer.
So if you were saying like someone like you, like if you were looking as a career in law enforcement, you know, what I would tell you to do is obviously really look at what part of policing you want to get involved in. Every department is different. There's different types of law enforcement. You have small municipal police departments that deal with a lot, like I said, small town community policing. Bigger, larger departments like Toledo, at Columbus, places like that. There's a lot more opportunities to diversify. You can go into like detective work. You can work like robberies. You can do stolen automobiles, drugs, things like that. There's state agencies that specialize in certain things. So find out what really interests you and start working towards that. What I would also suggest too is, you know, set yourself apart. A lot of people coming out of college have criminal justice degrees, and so they're kind of a dime a dozen. So, you know, maybe look at getting a degree in accounting, things like that. You can still become a police officer with a degree in any number of things.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, I hope that more young people that are interested in this career field stay interested in this career field. You know, we need good police officers, and you know, I hope and pray that the next generation answers the call, because you know, us old timers, we can't stay in this forever.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I enjoy being a police officer. I know it's been kind of stressful for some officers these last couple of years with everything going on in the media, but it never, I don't think, fazed me. I love this job, and I love the people that I work for. I love this community, and like I said, I just enjoy playing a big part in the community.
Thank you.